decide, oh, yeah, we're just going to freeze. Okay. All right. And going live now. Hello, everyone. We are back. Welcome, citizens of the internet. I am the organizer of chaos here on Trick Roll. You can call me Andy. You can call me Mr. Films. That sounds weird. You can also just call me Warped. That's a good descriptor. Who else do we have in the game today?
Myself, Kyle. I am, as always, Flint Ewood 756 on here on Twitch, and today I am playing Joseph Lucerno, who just recently became the new king of Evalia, and thereby ruler of Thieveston, which is under new management completely.
Yep, and I'm sure that will not be completely messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after all, you're only the chaotic rogue who wants to bring order to the city.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see this going horrendously wrong on so many levels.
I'm glad you see it coming this time.
I didn't actually expect to win that. I didn't expect to actually do what I did. I expected to actually
No,
miss.
I mean everything else you ever done in game. You always go and like, oh, this is going to work out perfectly. And then even I'm over here. There is no way I can't break a whole society with what you're trying to do right now. You
Oh
get
no,
into
most of
fights
the
with
stuff.
Bugger on a regular basis because you're trying to do what you think is a good idea.
Oh yeah, it's a good idea, but also at the same time, I don't expect it to ever work.
You know what? Before I get into a debate with you about how hog tying a man in his own workshop is a good idea, we're just going to go straight over to Arceus.
I am Ashes. Currently dealing with some stuff, so that's why I'm off camera. Today I will be playing the man who believes he sees all PV, who, if I am not mistaken, is on the fast track to becoming Zinch.
Possibly.
We will find out because, like I said, in Evalia, anything can happen. Although it's definitely going to be a monkey's paw situation.
It always is with you, Andy.
Yes.
It always is.
Only this time, the monkey's paw is absolutely giving you the finger. It's not even hiding it. I started off like, yes, you run a Curse City. Great. We're going to. There was no hesitation in Curse City. Yeah, we want to rule that place. Like, not we want to destroy it. We want to send it back to where it belongs. We want to anchor it here in this world and unleash it on everybody. But for good, not for evil, for good.
Yes, in all ways that one can. So,
which reminds me, there's still a drug addicted cat walking around.
not just any drug addicted cat, a red sand addicted cat.
Well, we'll go ahead and see how many more criminals you can bring in because it needs a fresh supply of drugs. Anyway, let's actually go into the world now.
Yeah, so I'm disappointed that if you want a drug addicted cat, you didn't go meow meow.
Well, I never named it. So, anyway, we're going to get into the world now, where we will start off with Vivi. What are you doing around the castle today?
He is reading in the library.
What topic?
Oh God, let's think. I have to be very careful. The concepts of harnessing shadow flow energy.
Light reading, and probably a good topic.
Yeah.
I'll say, just for fun, give me an Arcana check.
Okay. That is a total of 14.
14. Okay, yeah, there has only been 4 fires broken out by reading this book. And I don't mean like regular fire. I mean like green fire that just sprouts up at random. Sometimes the book itself.
He's being very careful not to be burnt.
It doesn't even matter if you're reading it out loud or not. Just reading the words sometimes makes things catch on fire.
He looks at the fire and shrugs, just like there's more chaotic, destructive things in this world than me reading a book. Speaking of which, let's go see what.
No. You just opened up Pandora's box there, sir. Make a dex check.
Okay, dex check.
Well, dex save, really.
That's a 7.
So the back legs of the chair you were just sitting in, caught on fire just slowly enough that you didn't notice, burned away. The whole chair just fell backwards on you, and you hit your head for 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Vivi shakes his head, sitting there on his back, still reading the book.
Okay, I'm gonna give you that one. That's pretty good. Joseph, how do you imagine your day starting out?
My day is starting out with the fact that I have a butler who despises me coming in and telling me that there's possibly something that I need to look over in the throne room.
Oh yes, he's brought in a stack of papers that all need your signature. You know, after all, you did impose order on the city, so that means paperwork.
Yep, and not just the bodyguards either. All right, I am going to sit there and I'm going to
No, but they
read
did kill 3 messengers today.
Messenger pigeons or messenger coraxes?
No, people who came to actually deliver messages, and then they just weren't able to defeat the paperwork to actually deliver their messages. Their bodies have been dumped into the moat.
We need a cleaner place to put the bodies than the moat, because that's just going to create...
No, the things in the moat eat it. This is actually the most efficient way to feed the moat monsters.
Apparently we are Sparta. All right. I am going to look through each of these things that needs to be signed by me to make sure that I'm not going to be unleashing some eldritch horror.
Oh, sorry, I'm being told that apparently my mic is not working properly. Let me check OBS right quick. Everything showed it was working earlier. So
yeah, you're on mute. That is very odd.
Yeah. So 1 sec, please. No, I'm not trying to do speakers. Yeah, like I said, everything was working fine earlier. Kyle, can you talk for me real quick? I was trying to figure out if you were functioning. So say something for me, please.
I am the most annoying person on the planet.
Okay, you are coming through. Okay. There I am. All right. Thanks for that, Gorgon. My OBS totally fried up. So I hope everything was kind of coming through. Let me recap the last little bit. So King Joseph, his bodyguard or his personal guard known as the paperwork, an old joke from way back. Whenever someone attempts to enter the castle, they must defeat certain forms of the paperwork. And because local messengers are not warriors, they've just been killed and thrown in. Kyle, your paperwork is about this thick, and that means that's not the guard. Those are the forms that were brought in. When I say he brought you a lot of forms, do you still want to read them all?
Yes,
Give me
because
an intelligence check.
oh god. Hey, a 10.
Oh, okay, yeah. You can spend your time reading these, or you could go get breakfast.
No, I'll read these and then get breakfast. The
Okay,
world, this kingdom is supposed to be efficient. Where is my breakfast in bed so that I can read these and sign them while
you
eating?
are brought a standard portion of mash. The paper, some of the forms are things about the organization of the Thieves Guild. They have some basically they're just, some of these just include like your authorization to send out messages to local thieves guilds, things of that nature.
Sign off on those and also make sure that the mathematics haven't been screwed around with. That way I'm getting a proper cut into into the country's coffers.
After you sign it and you hand it back over to Withers, he will say, okay, we will inform them all to join or die. The next form that you fill out with that 10, you're basically signing off on a lot of stuff here. It has to do with dealing with the criminals of the city. I mean, not the ones, the people who are breaking the rules unauthorized, not the authorized breaking of rules. I'm going to have to come up with a better descriptor.
Free.
The free agents unassociated with the proper channels of fealty.
Yes. People who are doing things that the city has not authorized them to do, basically.
I'm going to look over what the punishments are.
Oh, it's basically death. Now you got a 10, so that's an efficient death.
Yeah. It's not a slow death. It's not a torturous death. It's pretty much just like, yeah.
Yep. So you're signing off on that one as well?
Yep.
Okay. The execution will take place this afternoon. And after that, it's just got things to do with, things that are just less fun to talk about, but, normal stuff. Would you like to witness say anything before the execution of the cabbage farmer? They are hauling him out to the square now that you have signed off on it.
I'm going to stand outside and I shall look at him and go, what are your last words?
I was just trying to sell cabbages. And then the blade comes down. And they are going to just take the carton of cabbages and they're just going to dump that into the moat also.
Would that be a beheaded cabbage?
Yep, that cabbage goes in as well. And then your executioner will say, now remember, there is to be no lawful transport within the city. If you are not smuggling something, you will be dealt with appropriately. And then the people disperse back to their homes.
So, looking at that and go, well, that's one way to patch things over. All right.
Yes, we will not allow any legal trade within the city, sire.
I just look at it and I go, don't describe it that way. That just creates a legal conundrum. Because if it's legal to smuggle, then that's technically a legal trade.
All will be dealt with appropriately, sir. You need not worry about it. You've already signed off on the papers.
I'm now going to go look for Vivi, as I note the smell of charred walnut is the chair. Is the chair made out of walnut or is it made out of something else?
It was actually made out of compressed walnut shells.
We're an eco-friendly kingdom.
You do recycle your dead. Specifically, you feed them to a slime, but close enough.
Going to come into. Is Vivi still laying on his back in the chair?
Yep. He's so engrossed in this book, he kind of doesn't want to stop reading.
You might want to be careful with that. The books here can literally draw you in and make you a character.
I have made note of which one of those are.
That's literally almost any of these books. They can literally draw you in.
Yeah. Since I started associating with you in the Drylift, I've learned to go with the flow.
Yeah. Makes things so much easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. And you actually look at what he's reading.
Yeah, I do. I'll look at the spine to see if there's a title on there.
The fundamentals of Shadowfell manipulation.
Okay, just so that you know, Andy, I've made my wisdom save for the day, and it's a 15 as well.
Okay.
I'm just gonna walk up, and I'm going to look over the spine of the book, and I'm just going to go. Are you wanting to become a greater lord of the Shadowfell, or are you just trying to find a way to keep from being fully corrupted by this place?
Bit of both.
I am going to say, Vivi, that because you are actually a native of the Shadowfell, you do find some rather interesting things about how you are I don't want to say you're immune to the corruption, because you're basically born of that corruption. Corruption isn't exactly the right term, but you are. Make an intelligence check for me. I want to make sure I phrase this right.
Intelligence check, okay.
Yeah. Because there's no danger to your sanity this time.
Wait, is he the Bane of the Shadowfell?
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, Kyle.
That's a 15.
15. Okay. Because you were born in a one of the domains of dread, you are considered a native. Actually, it's sort of like a nuanced phrasing. You know how every language has different words that to an outsider all mean the same thing. Like, 8 words for snow. Yeah. You would be an ensouled native. That does mean that it's you are less of a target, but at the same time, it means there is less there's fewer options for you. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Then Vivi explains this to. God, I forget your character's name. God damn it,
Joseph.
I explained this to Joseph.
Okay, but it just be forewarned. Some of the books aren't fully housebroken yet. We're working on that. So, especially when it comes to the ones about cats, be prepared.
You hear a hissing sound as an encyclopedia that was open on the other side has a trickle of lava coming out of it.
Well, at least it's not the Encyclopedia Philonica. I just pick up the lava book and just place it into its
make a Constitution save.
7.
God. It wasn't a 1. So I'm not going to make you lose another digit, but you will take 3 points of fire damage.
Then
I'm
And
really
then-
going to be able to make use of that construct constitution as you lose body parts one by one. He goes, oh, look, this book has lava coming out. Let me pick it up.
I'm just putting it back into its proper little caldera-shaped enclosure in the library shelves.
Vivi looks outside, and you feel a wave of healing energy over your fingers.
I just look at him and go, well, thank you, but that was kind of unnecessary.
Trust me, knowing you, any form of injury could prove a problem.
Well, it's not like it's not like as if I'm going to lose a finger and then attach some crude. Actually, yeah, I'm not going to finish that because that might be something that I do.
Vivi sighs, closes the book, and gets up.
Speaking of which, I kind of miss Ashley, but at the same time, having a face inside of your chest that talks not only gets kind of blasé after a time, but I think he kind of really hated the fact that I was constantly in leather armor and that smelled.
Maybe we should go for PVC.
Sorry, say that one more time.
I said maybe we should go for PVC.
PVC. Why? What would PVC bring that's better?
At least it'd be a gimp mask for Ashley.
I get the feeling that you got into the wrong type of dungeon delving here.
I am from a domain of dread, after all.
And rather than analyze any of that, Withers will inform you that some of the nobility will be stopping by.
Which nobles, precisely, Withers?
The nobles who wish to come and meet the new king.
Okay, I guess I shall meet them. By the way, Withers, is there anything that you yourself would like me to have review over the household itself?
No.
Okay.
I will also say that the castle has reformed to meet Joseph's orderly view of the country. It is now basically like a square, very easily identifiable pathways. It's not the complex, ever-changing maze. It's like a corporate office now. All the buildings are now square. The city is orderly. The executions are on a regular basis. Everything is clockwork.
Just imagine that at some point in the middle of the village square is a giant clock tower that is the doom clock, and it's like constantly 2 minutes away from midnight, which is when everything is supposed to go boom.
No, but they do like to tie people to it so that way executions actually happen on the hour. As the clock hands.
That's. I'm not high enough for this.
When you hear 12 screams, you know it is midday. And believe me, they're running out of people for that one. They're thinking they might have to go to every fourth hour just so they don't run out of people. Or, use immortals.
Well, we could just start invading other towns that are being mismanaged by those countries outside of our limits.
It shall be done, sir. And Withers vanishes.
Vivi looks at Vivi's behind his mask, but you feel his eyes judging you.
What? What? They're being mismanaged. There's constant wars out there. We're just coming in to make
Now
things
they're
better.
going to be used as a timekeeping device.
Yes.
Yes, but considering how you're dealing with this place, it might be better for them to be mismanaged.
I mean, do you see anybody who's unhappy?
No, because they'd probably be dead if they were.
True, but at the same time, they're happy.
A false utopia is no utopia at all. And
Oh.
with that, Vivi walks off.
Oh, no. The rule is actually quite really well written. It is genuine happiness.
That's right. People, the guards will walk around asking people if they are happy. Which reminds me, Joseph, are you happy?
Yeah.
Okay. A guard just sleeps, with 2 knives, just sinks back into the shadows again.
Yeah, he's really good. You need to remember to get him a raise.
So, I guess you want to go and meet some of the nobles who wish to be part of your court.
Yes.
Okay. First up is Lady string of word syllables that are completely unpronounceable by the human tongue. We will just shorten that to Sarissa. She has to wear like a veil across her face, and you see like she has a very scaly form.
Mortal Kombat.
Hello, sire.
I will bow my head very slightly and return the greeting. Hello, Lady Sarissa. How are you?
Oh, I am very happy as per the rules of your land. I seek to claim certain lands within your domain.
And the reasoning for this being
Oh, you have brought new territory to the Shadowfell. It is only right that they be expanded upon so that others can bring glory to your lands.
yes. And what skills in particular do you feel that would lead to you managing this lands better and for the benefit of those that I would grant into your keeping?
I have the ability to produce soul gems. They are very similar to what certain fiends use for currency.
Good, very good. That will do us very well in our times, and also
Yes, they aid in certain rituals and other dark sorcery.
very well. I take it that these lands will be very well suited for your abilities then, and that is why you have taken interest with them. Shall I have you confer with my adjudicators in regards to the proper tariff for these, in regards to the taxation for that, and we can discuss any resources that you need to help set yourself up in an appropriate manner within those lands.
Oh, I have my own personal guard. We will have no trouble claiming a village I find suitable.
Very good. Your charter is granted. You, Lady Sarissa, shall be now Lady Sarissa of the I am out of character, just completely failing to find a proper title for this lady.
That can be handled later on off screen.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, she bows, turns to leave, and I will handle her claiming her own territory later on. And let me know when you're ready to move on to something else, because obviously I didn't really plan a whole lot of this. We're going to be making these things up as we go.
Yeah.
And seeing at what point you absolutely say this is wrong. Because not everyone's going to be that subtle about it.
No, that wasn't very subtle at all. And even Joseph was just like, this is kind of what these people do. I would be very ineffectual as a leader within these bounds if I didn't at least ask.
You just gave a Gorgon permission to go and slaughter a bunch of people to claim her own village.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of surprised. That's not.
You once again you feel Yumi's eyes on you, judging you.
But next up will be a portly man who is wearing what would have been a fine suit if it weren't for the fact that, you know, he was poking out of it in various ways. And I don't just mean like obese, I mean like pustules and things, like very unhealthy. Well, except that he's carrying himself just fine. It even has somebody with a follower with a tray of food for him to eat. And I gotta think of names for these people. I don't have like my big book of names like I would normally have. So this is Lord Fellingsworth.
Lord Fellingsworth, it is good to see that you have managed to make past the trials of the paperwork. How may I be of help and aid to you today?
And he's just like eating from a big, we'll call it turkey leg. So you don't have to worry about the details. Like, it is what I can do for you, my lord. I can bring forth servitors that would help to expand your empire.
This guy's a necromancer, isn't he?
Are you asking him?
No, I'm just thinking servitors. Those, oh god, servitors of a mechanical or of a biological nature?
Oh, biological.
Remnants of those who have passed, or?
Well, the dead do help to carry our power.
Our power. I take it that you are referring to the full guild of necromancers, then?
No.
No. Oh.
No, they don't have a guild. They are but power mad, well, maniacs mostly. No, he kind of looks at Withers questioningly. It's like he is unaccustomed to lords of your caliber, sir. You must be patient with him. He is new to these lands. Like, yes. A light-born soul, I see. No. I bring forth the power to control the plagues.
Oh. So what those in the lands outside would call pestilences, then?
Exactly.
And
it is
I
no problem at all for me to send a few servitors into a community, and within a week they will all be helpless before your blades. If you wait another week, you won't even have to waste the blades.
Right, first Zeech, now Nurgle.
Well, the gardening opportunities from such fertile lands being taken over would be quite beneficial. And what
I would like to point out that because you live in Evalia, the most rampant plant growth is never considered beautiful or bountiful. It is usually like gnarled trees that may or may not strangle people with their branches.
I like my little country. It's quite beautiful in a twisted sense. they're like coming up going, we have these skills, make us useful. And I'm just thinking we're trying to invade other towns. And this is actually quite a good siege tactic. Yeah.
I'm just
My
writing
moral
down
compass-
names of the ones that you seem to be like, oh yes, this is a great idea. Plague Lord, go forth.
Yes. Yes, this would be quite beneficial, especially for our attempts on much larger cities and areas, and
Oh yes,
quelling
yes.
their
Once you get them trapped within their own walls, it's very easy to kill them all.
yes. I grant you permission. State out your targets and talk with our general of the armies and confer with them the appropriate time to begin the attacks.
Is Gileth your general, or is he just your champion?
He is my champion.
Okay. He is actually, for the sake, since the player couldn't be here, Gileth had to go do an exit survey with his former advisors.
He's doing an exit interview. Oh my god.
Lord Fillingworth will attempt to bow, which for most of you is very unpleasant because you're like, oh, please don't let that thing bust. And I'm not going to say what that thing is. Take your pick.
Phoebe just staring at him.
Yeah. Is there anyone you're going to turn down? Because I can just describe to a few people real quick.
Describe the next few, and I'll tell you which one of them I will turn down.
We'll kind of do this a little bit more rapid fire. There is one who is a crone. She seems to have like green skin, and she wants to build up a nice little cottage area with a garden, a place that for the children to play.
The children will not be consumed, I take it.
Phoebe
Make an insight check.
Phoebe looks at Joseph. Leans in, whispers, "I believe they will."
16 on the insight check.
She got a 1. She's a green hag. She's going to eat them. She's going to corrupt them and eat them, not necessarily in that order, and maybe not all of them, because after all, she needs to make her own flying monkeys.
I lean over so that my eyes are just coming out from just below my brow, and with a very stern look, I go, "Innocence of children is something that we shall protect to a certain extent. Corruption."
Oh yes, the
for when they
innocent are
later.
much more tasty.
Your charter is revoked. Do not bring this before me again.
Because your 15 still beats out, she's very unhappy and she storms away. There might have been some muttered curses about murder. Okay, let me make a note.
No, child murder is where I draw the line.
It's good to know you have some, because you didn't have a problem with them executing the cabbage peddler. Okay. There is one more patron that I will describe. He is coming in. He has like sunken dark skin, and I mean, like, you under this light, you're questioning, is he just made of black bones, or is he just that thin? But he is simply asking for some lands underneath the mountain regions.
I do an insight check on him.
Okay. God, these people are not rolling well today.
I got a 7.
Oh, good. He got a 2. So even if I were to say he had a good charisma, I think I'm still going to give the advantage to you. Um, he's not human, and I mean that in like you don't even think this is his actual form type of not human. So you don't think he's humanoid.
Mhm.
But he seems like his claim that he wishes, a private domain where he can just be left alone to his work is probably very accurate in that he is probably going to go find a dwarven village and clear it out and take it as his own.
Would it be better for me to send kobolds in to create a cavernous area for you? That way you don't have to bother the dwarven. Because the Dwemer are okay for right now.
Do you have available kobolds?
Well, I
But
figure
no, I
that
will be
as
remodeling anyway, so it doesn't matter. I would just find one that I found suitable and remodel as I see fit.
well, what perchance would you be doing while you're taking your own? I need to know fully how this can benefit the kingdom in full. What
Well, you would have nothing to fear from any attacks from the Underdark that come through that area. I would keep my areas protected. And any materials that I come across that are not personally beneficial to me would be given to you. That would be base metals and some of the what you would consider to be valuable metals.
Okay. Yes. Well, I shall allow this, but I will make sure that we send a contingent of kobolds to be able to build you.
Again, do you have that's Andy asking, where are you
Yeah.
getting cobalt from? Because
From the vast
I'm
amounts of
fairly
regions that we-
lenient on things, but you have not collected kobolds.
Not yet, anyways.
Okay. Um, he is okay with cobalt. He figures that they can be kept in line.
And we shall begin with kobolds, and then as your needs grow, we shall find.
I will be able to bring in my own citizens if that is acceptable.
Yes.
After all, it is my land. I should have a say in who lives there.
Yes, yes. And that is very appropriate. So we shall do that, and we shall find an appropriate kobold expeditionary force to help you with this.
He will take his leave. He didn't really give a name. I'll find one for him later.
I just imagine that his name is like the sounds of whispers in the back of your mind.
Yeah, it was definitely not the sort of thing that you were able to comprehend.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you authorized 3 mass murders, but not 4. One of them wasn't even mass murder. She's just going to lure in children. Like, no, we draw the line there. Go out and kill them yourself. Okay, I'm setting those notes aside. Oh,
We can establish orphanages. Just don't eat the orphans.
And he's supposed to be the good guy, ladies and gentlemen. At least Giles went out and this is seriously something Jesse did when he first became king of Evolia. He made a PSA recording of Giles saying, "If you find anybody selling drugs, tell me, and I will kill them." But you're like, I guess we can allow a couple of drug dealers. Like this. Oh, you control pestilence. Sure, go out and find yourself a village. Have fun. Okay.
Yeah,
This is why I like Kyle. He's like I am very moral, but I'm flexible on that morality.
can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can.
If Vivi just be standing there, just going, just dumbfounded about what he just watched.
You're basically making a list of people you have to kill later because you know they're going to abuse this.
Yes.
That might actually be the smartest thing anyone's done in a while.
Yeah.
Okay. God, I can't believe I got away with that, even when they rolled so poorly to hide their intentions.
The child murderer is the one that I was just like, nope. The Gorgon, I'm like, no, that's par for the course. We're going
No,
to
you
be
figure out
invading.
she was a Gorgon.
Yeah.
Well, specifically a Medusa. In D&D, Gorgons and Medusas are different. But that's a technicality even I think is a little messed up. But anyway.
I mean, it's like they're at least coming up and asking instead of going off and doing it on their own. It's pretty much.
Oh
like,
yeah, I
you're
mean they
polite.
are royalty. Well, not royalty. They are nobility, and they are seeking to expand their lands in the correct manner by taking advantage of the poor, naive mortal.
Yes,
that's what most nobility does.
Yeah, and since everybody has to be happy, the nobility have to ensure that the people are happy as well. So it's just pretty much like, yeah, you're taking on responsibility of care. Now, how that care comes about is very different to the morality of this land, but still, you're coming in and saying, I will make these people happy after I invade and murder the original inhabitants.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. As I said before, this is going to be kind of a weird collage episode. Is there anything you would like to do next?
I look to Vivi and I go, is there anything that you would like me to deal with next?
I think Vivi just, how about questioning your sanity and life choices?
I do that every night before I fall asleep. Sometimes I wake up screaming.
Good. I think Vivi, I am Richie from Ravenloft, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is happening here?
I'm just looking at the morality in which I grew up with and realizing and understanding that I have taken over a land whose customs and people are quite the opposite of mine, and I'm finding a way to merge them both.
Be careful how you do that, or it might become a literal merger.
No better than a corporate acquisition. Speaking of which, I should probably organize the necromancers if they are as egomaniacal as as Lord Fellingworth said. I need to put them into an area where I can observe them best.
Probably not the greatest idea. If they start banding their power together, they could be.
Withers will send out a memo.
Fucking hell.
The necromancers are to be corralled.
Think of it this way. That many egos together, they're not really likely to unite in a justified purpose against me. If I continue to have little power play games where I can gift one or another more bodies than one or the other, they'll constantly battle each other out.
The town crier can be heard. War is declared against Alistar, the country of necromancy. They are really quick on enacting your laws.
I forgot that Alistar was the nation of necromancy.
Vivi sighs. Well, I guess we got off the war.
Yeah, you don't really have a standing army yet. You'll have to, one of those have to be built up.
Maybe we could speak to our one of our local necromancers, see if he can raise an army.
The town crier calls out, necromancers to be taken prisoner to create an army.
What?
You got to remember, you're my advisor as well. So if you actually come up with something that's an actual, that I can think of as being a beneficial idea, it can become a law.
you hear this deep, exasperated sigh.
My lord, we do actually have what you might refer to as proto necromancer. We could bring him in and have him begin to learn his trade and to build you the army you seek.
Well, yes. And that army shall be called the Risen.
Okay. We're going to sort of meddle with time a little bit to say that, we'll jump back to wherever you're going to do next, but we'll say that, it's like later in the day, they bring forth an elf in, natural green clothing, no shoes. It's like, we have brought you Sir Thaddeus. Dude, this is kind of harsh treatment.
And dude,
you just
we're going to
drag
let
me
you-
out of my hut and drag me up here. That's not cool, dude.
Well, dude, we brought you out here that way you could learn to be a necromancer in full.
Dude, why would I want to be a necromancer?
Dude, because you were already a proto one, because you were already sort of dabbling with it.
Dude, that was just recycling the dead. That's not like, full blown rip out souls. I was just stitching together the dead things so that way they could be useful into nature again, dude.
Well, dude, we kind of need that en masse because, dude, we need your skills with that.
Dude, what you're talking about sounds like, you're trying to do harm. I'm just like trying to make use of the things that were already dead, dude.
Dude, the greater harm is in letting those who live die.
I'm gonna say that plus the 5 swords pointing at him right now convinces him to do whatever you say.
Go inside, piece together something that can work as a, quite effective, mobile war machine that, allows for the recycling of those things that were quite destructive into being a useful, good thing for our army and prevents those of our people from dying needlessly.
Make a charisma check for me, please.
Can it be a persuasion check?
No, this is you trying to make that make sense. This isn't persuasion. I need to see how he understands you.
9.
Good. He understands you about as well as I did. Okay. He will be drug away. And fortunately, even though I don't remember the name of Shiv's character because I'm terrible at memory, you had a book on flesh golem construction he can use to help build this army.
Yay.
Okay. So you you have 3 nobles now who are off committing war crimes to collect their cities. You have declared war on a country. You have declared war on every thieves guild that can receive a letter from you within 3 weeks. And you are executing any peddlers who come through but are not smuggling things.
And maybe I suggest if we continue to do that, instead of feeding them to the malt monsters, sending them to be part of the army.
Yes, they will be given to Sir Thaddeus so that he may start to create your army to enforce your rules. Oh, and don't worry, Lady Sarissa will be able to help you to hire fiends with those soul gems.
Yay!
So no part of the living creature will go to waste. Even its soul will be ripped out and used as currency.
Well, at least we'll be efficient about it.
How is it that Kyle's creating the darkest world I've ever played in? And I'm trying to make a dark, grim world. He's just like, I'm going to be nice about this. We're going to execute all these people, rip out their soul, use it to hire fiends. God. Oh,
And this is me not even trying.
I know. This is day one of you being in charge. We haven't even had an actual threat yet. Oh, I've got 5 of them lined up now.
Now then, we need to start creating. We need to start doing the dividing of the Thieves Guild into the narcotics operations, the alcohol smuggling, gambling dens, and pubs.
I believe it might be better to choose better names.
Are you unhappy with the king's phrasing, sir?
No, he's not unhappy with it. He just feels that that I haven't been utilizing creativity to a full extent. I'm just outlining right now. The naming shall come throughout the process as we garner more and more work into the actual creation and foundation of it. Much like as you are carving marble into a sculpture, this is just the outline upon the surface of what you see within it.
Okay, we have a new torture method. It's listening to the king ramble.
Audio torture.
Oh,
I'm better than a Volgon poet.
I don't know if you mean better by our standards or theirs.
By theirs.
Okay. That clears it up. Thank you. Oh. Okay. What would you what is next on your list of things to do around the city?
I look to Arsh's and I go, shall we do a field check?
Sure, why not?
Yes. We shall go out into the city itself.
Okay.
As a way of testing the quality of skill of our smugglers.
Anything against VV.
You go out onto the misty streets, which just has a very good grid pattern to them. So it doesn't matter that, everything is covered in mist. You can still find your way around. But it's also very easy for people to hide in.
Are we talking
This
about
is like
mist
a London. This is like a New York meets London mist.
As someone from London, the mist isn't actually that bad.
Okay, the perceived Hollywood version.
Old London, the Londonium.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, the only thing you have to worry about in
This is like knee-high mist all the time.
Grave fog. Grave fog clings to your calves and just wisps over the land throughout each gridwork pattern, swirling as you move through it.
Exactly.
And this is out of character. I'm now expecting Dracula to appear at some point.
No comment. Get out of my notes.
Yes,
I mean,
shall.
seriously, don't think that I'm stealing for your idea. Sometimes I am stealing your ideas. Just know that sometimes you are just figuring out. I mean, we're playing a horror campaign.
Yeah.
We didn't start off as a horror campaign, but you're turning it into a horror campaign. We're in the Ravenloft community. There is going to be some vampires eventually.
Be the first one have to do a vampire.
Eventually, it will have to happen. I mean, we'll have to have something to do with the excess blood from medical procedures. And vampires would make very good doctors because one, they would have to have a very steady, very healthy food supply. And them taking care of the citizenry as doctors in that perspective makes them very good for that, because they would want to ensure the health and security of the citizenry because their blood would depend upon it.
Just one favor.
What?
If you're going to meet with Strahd, inform me beforehand so I can hide.
Vivi, you actually know what it's like to live under a vampire lord. I won't even make you do a check. You can explain to him why you think these ideas. You can explain to him if you think these ideas are good or not.
Oh, Vivi's going to explain in length. Like he's going to actually go, right, King, sit down and you will listen to me about why this is a bad idea. 5 hours later. And that's why we should not let the vampires rule.
I want to know how letting them be doctors and enforcing them into the role of medical is letting them rule.
Another 5 hours later.
You might need to make an actual roll if you're going to summarize it by 5 hours. We need some kind of way to decide how you're explaining this to him.
Oh, it's basically from his own experience, his logic.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Okay.
I'm just so glad that so many people have tuned in for what I jokingly called city administration, and then became much more city administration than I thought. I thought you'd be fighting half of the nobles by now.
That's a 26 on persuasion.
Okay. Arches, I will sort of what I think is consolidating this for story purposes. He's basically explaining that if you allow vampires in, especially if you give them a position of authority, even if you try to keep a lid on that, they are still going to find a way to subvert it, make more of their kind, and use those to undermine your rule and make themselves the true rulers.
Okay, so vampires are essentially cockroaches. Great.
No, that would give cockroaches a bad name.
Vampire cockroaches.
No.
Those actually exist, by the way, in real life. There are cockroaches that feed off of the blood of other animals.
I mean, we already have vampire hummingbirds thanks to Giles.
Oh yeah, and vampire unicorns.
Well,
vampire were-unicorns.
Yes, that was a vampiric were-unicorn, which is really more of a vampire centaur vampire, but I couldn't figure out how to put that into a word.
Abomination.
Unitor just didn't seem to cover it properly.
Abomination is the right word for it. Well, at least one of them's gone.
Well, Giles is no longer king. We don't deal with his nightmares anymore. We deal with Joseph's nightmares. Which is, I'm going to have to unseat you soon, or this is going to become a normal part of our gameplay. Don't worry. The World Association patch notes will, well, the mail got delivered, but it wasn't really anything that King Joseph needed to deal with. So we'll deal with the World Association later.
Oh, great.
Oh, yeah. Even though the Turtle News Network still delivers, is all beneath your concern, sire.
You see
What-
Vivi ducking in a copy of it under his cloak.
What sort of a free society would we be making if we... No, actually, having all news subverted and used as a path of smuggling would be very fitting with the
War
aesthetic
has
of our-
been declared against the Total News Network.
No, it hasn't.
No, no. We are not declaring war against the TNN.
That
We're
is
not-
probably for the best, sire.
We're just-
We have never been able to stop them.
Yes, we are not that powerful, and I think we ever will be.
We are just enforcing the fact that they must smuggle in their news. All newspapers must be smuggled in, just as all other goods must be smuggled in.
That actually works with how I already imagined them. It's like when you see I've never actually named him. Tomas is the turtle news delivery person, but it's like you see him, but you never see him when other people are around. And that's all I will say at the moment.
So, yes, the quote unquote free distribution of news still happens, just as all other goods are done via smuggling.
So, information is an authorized illegal activity. The freedom of information is authorized illegal.
Yes, authorized illegal. So,
I think illegal authorization, or however we phrase this, is going to be
Yeah.
our shorthand for what is allowed but not executable.
yes,
Vivi, you actually see Vivi looking at you thinking, thank God, considering information is his bread and butter.
it does nothing to the efficiency of a nation to fully prevent all information. Information should be as free and open as every other good, and therefore treat it as every other good. And this is our way of doing so.
Not a big problem considering that few people can actually read anyway.
Oh, we're going to enforce reading.
Education now mandatory for all. The school will be built tomorrow by the students.
Vivi looks at Joseph and goes,
Engineering
finally-
and construction will be the first course.
Vivi looks at Joseph and goes, finally an actual decent decision.
All decisions are decent in certain ways. I
No, they're not.
mean,
Don't bullshit a bullshitter.
hey. I know that you love to argue, and I will bring this one on. But my main argument on this point is I didn't allow the child-eating hag.
Yes, you use the free reign of pestilence, the siphoning of souls, and the extermination of the dwarves.
I'm not
Which was
actually
amazing
subvert-
because that wasn't even your territory, but it will be soon. This is how you grow an empire. You send out people and tell them you claim the land and pay taxes to me. And that's actually how you grow a dark domain.
Yes.
I thought you would actively go out and execute the people. You sent out people to do it. Don't worry, you'll have your opportunity to claim some of the smaller villages also.
It does nothing for efficiency if I subvert the nature of the people and prevent them from doing that which they enjoy.
In that case,
Except-
you should have let the child murder happen, because
There are limits to
I
even
can't
how dark I
argue.
am.
You are passing by the pirate shop, which is like the one of the few mortals that lives here.
I poke my head and go, how's everything?
All is well, my lord.
Do you need anything?
No, my lord, we are all happy, as ordered.
Would there be anything that you would need for me to make you that much happier?
No, Lord, we have all that we require.
Okay. Is there
Uh,
anything? Is there any sort of luxury that you would wish?
No, I'm not trying to like play into their character. They have, they're working just fine. They don't have as many customers as they used to, but they're they're were rats making their. I don't know if they're were rats anymore. If they're where they're rat folk, it doesn't really matter the difference. But they are rat people making pies, and
Evie goes in, grabs pays for a pie. He needs something to eat.
make a con save for me.
Yeah.
I get to be so
They-
cruel in this episode. What was yours?
12.
12. Did you also make one?
No, I
Okay.
didn't grab anything to eat.
Oh, okay. You Vivi, you take 2 points of poison damage, and you now have the poison condition. As ordered, we are putting poison in all of the pastries now. It has cut down on the customer base.
So I take it that these are just the that this is just the front end, but the back end takes care of everything else. Then
I don't know what you mean, sire.
goods being. I'll keep it hush hush.
No, we
Yeah.
are quite open about the fact that we sell poison pies. You did just say that all information should be handled openly.
Yes, but I'm also talking about the fact that there are certain goods that you also smuggle throughout the community.
Oh
and those
no!
would be
Our addition to the criminal element is that we poison all of our food now.
because I don't want you to lose all of your business.
No,
Would it
we
be-
rob the people after they die. That's just sort of a given part. They die on our property; they become our property. It's just we
can't-
have less repeat customers.
Well, to create a repeat market, would it be good for you to also include a actual confectionery smuggling market?
I mean, I suggest something that would actually work even better.
Good, because I'm not sure how you smuggle sugar.
How
Dude,
about
that used to happen.
Okay, yes, piracy and all that. I know you can actually smuggle sugar, but this is just like a land-based small city-state. Sugar and sweets are not hard to get. Archus, please offer your suggestion before we get into this.
how about making an antidote pie? So once they're dying from the poison pie, you can choose. They can either choose to die or buy one of the antidote pies, doubling the income.
Well, we don't actually have to offer. We can just offer the antidote outside of the pie, which means we don't have to bake a pie and then just leave it waiting. But yes, extortion is a great idea. Thank you.
Vivi nods.
But we will be increasing the lethality of our poison if you survived it, sire.
I am like, don't compare me to a regular being. I'm a bit hardier than most.
Of course.
I just pat Vivi on the back of the shoulder, and then I start going on to the next shop, just being
All
like,
Vivi finishes the pie. Just
Make another con save.
like poison aside is a good pie.
You know what? We're gonna go with the original because I can't give you a double poison condition. You take another 6 points of poison damage because you decided to finish the poison pie.
Like poison aside, it was a good pie.
Oh yeah, it's a great pie. They've never rolled poorly for baking anything, and
Yeah.
they are also the ones who make your candy homunculi, your gummy homunculi, which you haven't really made use of ever since I gave you that power. You forget about so many of the small things you've earned.
I just realized something. I'm creating a super. I'm creating a nation of just superly poison resistant people.
I am
over
going to
time.
have guest players come in just to try to dethrone you. In fact, that's going to be one of the things I try. We were joking about trying to do the dungeon lord style game. This is how it starts. If you would like to be a guest player and unseat the mad tyrant Joseph Lucerno and his criminal kingdom, send us a message. We need to dethrone him as quickly as possible.
So I'm going to move on. And just wait for Vivi after a few steps. Just kind of like, you coming with me, or are you just going to?
Kill over and die.
Nope, I'm well and good. Little suggestion though.
It's
Are
the
you-
diarrhea.
What was the final decision on vampire doctors?
Decided against it,
Okay.
mainly because I didn't want to continuously have the same over and over and over conversation with Vivi.
Oh, and Vivi would lecture you to the end of time before you let that happen.
Mm-hmm. So for the sake of my own happiness, I just went along with it. Because no man is above the laws of the nation. Be he king
Is someone threatening your happiness, sire?
No, not any longer. I have decided that the cause was something that I should not allow myself to become vexed over, and he did make several good points. So I decided to compromise on this for the sake of my happiness as well as my friends.
I'm just like, we have a new royal assassin in my head now.
It's that guard who just constantly comes out with the two knives.
Yeah, he's literally a shadow assassin. He just appears out of the shadow. Do you need me to kill you, sire? Okay. Do you need me to kill your minister of information? No. Okay.
I just look at Vivi and I go, we need a mages guild.
Yes, I believe it'd be good to have some element of magic control, plus more mages mean more knowledge.
A bounty has been placed on mages.
Not a bounty.
Not a bounty.
They are to be taken, but you will not be rewarded for your efforts.
An incentive.
A bribe for all mages brought in alive.
There. Fine-tuned wording. Very effective.
He's just like, I'm gonna die here, aren't I?
Possibly. But you got to admit, it's not going to be an uninteresting death. It's going to be quite an exhilarating one.
I don't know
stressful.
how much time I want to skip around, but I'm just making so many notes that are going to come in later. If you would like to assassinate Joseph Lucerno, you could be a guest player. I think we've reached the point where I can authorize guest players to try to kill you.
Yes.
You have single-handedly created more evil than I have as a DM, and it is my job to create the evil in the world. Okay, please continue on your way. This is what happens when we take a month off.
Shall we visit the garment district?
Sure.
Hey, after all, you do need finery in your life.
I'm quite happy with the clothes I have.
True. But we shall go into the garment district, the tailors and everything. If we even have that, it's probably just one lone little shack with a guy with like this gnome who's just constantly making really, really, really rough shod clothing.
Nah.
No, not a shack. It is an authorized construction building. But yes, there is a gnome tailor. He specializes in leather works. Can I interest you? He shows you a suit made out of pale leather.
Oh, is that the finest in elven or human design?
This is definitely this particular one is definitely of elven construction.
Question: is it made from actual elves?
Yes, it is. You have a discerning eye, sir.
That
That is why as you can see, there are no blemishes in the leather. Now, if you do wish for something a little bit more coarse, we have the another one over here that is more for well, I hate to use vulgar language, but the brutish sort.
Do I look like the brutish short?
No, that's why I did not offer you those, sir. But some do like the imposing look of scarred leather.
Do you have anything in red?
We do have, and he will show you some scaled like a cloak that's made out of scales. I'm not going to say it's armored, but it is made out of red scales.
I was expecting you should give me tiefling leather armor.
Oh, we do have that available also, but it has a bit of a fail odor to it.
Fair enough. I like think maybe just giving up, trying to question the variety of anything here. But he looks at the cloak.
It is a very fine scales. It it flows very well. If you want to make like an investigation check or something.
Yeah, sure.
Gorgon, I'm writing that idea down also, because that is actually thematically appropriate for the Shadowfell.
16.
16. You think this is made out of cobalt?
Yeah, Phoebe shrugs. like how much?
For the King's Advisor, there is no charge.
Phoebe takes off his cloak, like ties it up, puts it one side, and actually tries it on.
It's a good fit.
Yeah,
he can make the adjustments and everything you need.
Phoebe feels the cloak, feels how its weight, how it flows. This is fine craftsmanship.
Thank you, sir.
But I could do it being lengthened a little. So, if you don't mind.
He can make all the appropriate adjustments to it. And if you want to have something made out of leather, he can always acquire some.
I just denote screams in somewhere in the back of the building, quite soundly muffled for a bit.
No, he'll have to put in a special order.
Like, can you get anything in black? Like, maybe some of the more tan drow?
I don't believe that will be a problem. It may take some time, but I will drow leather clothing.
I just realized I have like an entire skin of that
false Hydra.
Yeah, of the false Hydra.
Yeah, you forgot about that somehow.
Yeah.
No.
I just go, what would it cost for making and enchanting a false Hydra leather armor?
Well, obviously there would be no cost to you, as this would be his taxes being paid through service.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll say that next game you can have a +1 leather armor made out of it.
Nice. So I've already got a +1 armor, studded leather armor. So how much of the actual Hydra skin would it be for making a +2 leather armor?
I mean, +2 leather armor. I'll get back to you on that because I got to see how that scales for where you actually are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll get back to you and I will figure out what the bonus false Hydra will give to you because maybe I can come up with something better than just a +1.
Yeah.
I have ideas,
Mhm.
but I need to get the mechanics of it. So he will work on it. He will come up with something that is satisfactory. He stakes his life on it.
Quite literally.
Yes, that's just a given. If anybody makes the king unhappy, it's the whole place will just have to tear itself apart as everybody kills each other. Because first the king has to be killed for being unhappy. Then the person who offended the king has to be killed. And then after that, it's probably going to devolve because everybody's going to start killing each other for making the king unhappy.
Mhm.
Boy, if he has one bad day, this place is going down.
I see. I've created my own way of destroying this world as well. I've quite literally included a fail-safe mechanism.
It's a good thing there is always the one loophole that we created last session.
Yes.
Well, let's just continue.
Please, this is getting weird. And I mean, we're running the Scooby-Doo game, and this is weird.
Kyle was a wild hunt called on. Was a wild hunt called on him. Oh God.
That's
I
the
don't
note I wrote
know.
down earlier.
All right. So I am. I'm going to look to Vivi and go. Where do you wish to go next?
I would like to check up on the progress of the Thieves Guild.
Let us go do so.
The Thieves Guild is the largest building next to the castle itself.
I imagine that it actually has something like an administrative receptionist who just.
Yes. You say go up front? Yes, sir. How can I help you today?
Well, we were coming in to check on the efficiency of the Thieves Guild and
Well,
see.
We have sent out notifications that all thieves guilds in the area must join us, and we are waiting on their replies. We do have some, but there's only been a couple of smaller ones so far. It does take time for messages to be delivered, even for the Turtle News Network.
Yes. Well, hopefully they don't add in any of their. Well, hopefully they're not as hard-nosed about it as some others are. in
We will
regards
be
to-
having to send out several associates to incentivize some of them, but we believe that some of the smaller ones will be more willing to join up without that being necessary.
Good. Very good. Is there anything in the meantime that you wish for from your king in regards to making sure that services flow evenly for yourselves?
No, again, even though everything is relatively new and we are setting up, it is more about just getting everyone to fall in line.
Good. Good. Then,
As he's like, taking out a letter. It's like, okay, we're going to need to send some assassins after these people.
If there are any of the smaller ones that don't comply, I feel if it be appropriate, without me stepping over the bounds of your charter, I could be used as a way to effectively bring them into line with yourselves to show the backing and power of your guild in full. So please.
You will be notified if your services are required in that method. Right now, we are just going with breaking bones until they agree to join us.
Very good.
There's a slight scream in the background.
Ooh, was that the bamboo shoots?
No, we are just simply using a hammer at the moment.
Ah, very, very, very good times. Well, then you go about and continue on with your business, and thank you very much.
Thank you, my lord.
Casually walk out. Probably Vivi's just eyeing me
The
like, is it-
Office of Recruitment and Torture is right next door.
Vivi goes, hold on a second, walks in. About 5 minutes later, you hear more efficient screaming. Vivi walks out.
Okay, even though I always say we're like Deadpool, we pan away from the bad stuff. Do we even want the summary of what you were doing in there? Or do we just want to walk on and ignore that?
He was just giving some advice.
Oh, okay.
you gotta put your arm into it. Like you're using your elbow.
No, you hear he's basically gave them medical, basically a analytical and medical description of where to hit to cause the most pain without the least amount of damage.
They were just using like a giant wooden mallet so far.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And now they're redesigning the mallet to.
Yeah, but Vivi knows for a fact that he can't be unhappy here or he will die. So he's doing he is the king's advisor, so he's doing what he's supposed to do, advise.
Which is really weird for the people who are being recruited because they're clearly unhappy, but they think that they will change their tune after the recruitment ceremonies.
May I suggest something?
Sure.
Maybe a slight amendment to the happiness rule. Until they are fully fledged citizens of the city, means more chance for growth, and while they're being recruited, per se, there will be less chance of outside sources murdering them.
Good. Yes, that does. We shall amend that to that facilitation and aid into incorporation of citizenry will
We'll call it an adjustment period.
yes, a grace
The
period.
beating will continue until you are happy.
Yes. Nothing tastes
I
better
think
than
at the executioner's block, they're like, "Are you happy yet? Very. We will let this one go. Are you happy? No. Screw you." Head comes off.
I just realized that I'm probably making the most insightful nation, but at the same time, the most horrific. Like they're able to really see that somebody is happy or not.
You're basically creating a nation of psychopathic empaths.
Yes. I'm making sociopaths.
Social empaths. Which is,
Or people who are very good at faking it,
Mhm.
which kind of goes with sociopath a lot of times.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get into full-on diagnosis modes, oh,
I feel like even for our own citizenry, to ensure that they are happy, we should create an entire psychological division to help them get to that point.
Yes, I believe that'd be a good idea. Also, maybe some more entertainment. You know, having more things to do keeps the
a
Well, then-
coliseum will be built immediately.
very good. Maybe it'd be better instead of straight up execution, sending some of the lawbreakers in there to make the people happy by watching them fight to the death.
Yes, that was the intent, the perceived intention.
And of course, all parts of the fallen victims will be used.
Yes, exactly. All things efficient and recycled in time.
Yeah, like BV's just going with the flow. Arsh is going, what the fuck am I doing? Why the
Oh, I'm just thinking, Oh, we're definitely gonna have to do a dungeon adventure next game as a palate cleanser for this. And normally the around town episodes are the palate cleansers. Fortunately, the what was that called? Is it the a World Association Committee will be releasing some patch notes about dungeons soon. Well, they probably already did, but it just wasn't worth the king's time.
Oh, not. Well, I tend to leave the heavier reading for nighttime. That way, in case if I do
No,
fall
Withers
asleep.
just isn't bothering you with it.
He's bothering me, but he's bothering. As I am the king's advisor and the head of information, he's probably bothering me with it.
No, he's only leaving you. The news is not worth your time either, Lord Vivi.
No, the news is always worth our time.
Well, you are given the important parts, like how society around you is falling apart because the council that took over the former capital just, everybody just kept breaking apart, that type of thing. The World Association Council, that doesn't really seem to concern you. The arrival of, these unique dungeons, that's not your problem.
But anything that would be associated with possibly the impacting of the well-being of my citizenry is important to me.
Well, it's because there are no dungeons that have been detected within your citizenry. No, except for the well.
The well.
All is well
Oh.
with the well.
Well,
The well has always been there, and you never asked about it before, so they don't bother you with it.
Well, claiming
well,
dungeons will expand territory.
What is the well?
The well is the source of power.
And how is the well filled?
With chaos.
What
This could be a bad time for the well, but until it has become a problem, it is not your concern.
Well, considering even in all order there is chaos.
Would something happening and being bad for the well be bad for the happiness of the people?
Oh, most assuredly, they would wither.
I looked at Vivian, I looked at Withers, and I go, we must find a way to rectify this and make the well happy. That way the people are continuously happy.
Oh, the well is currently full, sir, so there is no problem. If
But
the well overflows, there could be another problem, but so far that has not happened either. We just release the monsters from the dungeon when that happens, which actually aids to the dungeon being filled. It's a self-fulfilling thing. Unless you cut out the chaos and then starve the well.
at which point that is very bad. And
that's when the city dies.
Yeah. And given what I am currently doing, what is the prospect of the city dying in the future?
Well, that is very hard to tell because you have made several enemies.
And that will create chaos as they begin to attack the city.
No, they will try to kill you.
Yeah.
Does Sire not understand how murder works?
No, I do. I'm quite well versed in it. I'm just wondering.
I mean, you can always rectify that as well.
By either killing them or
no, by accepting more power and becoming the true lord of this land. Then death will hold no permanent sway over you.
Vivi is glad there's a smile on his mask right now. A smile on his mask.
Oh yeah, I imagine Vivi has a greater insight into this than anyone else, and we've been playing this with Evalia for a couple of years now, and I'm like, this is the episode where I finally get to tell you people this was a cursed land. Mm-hmm. I've been telling you that for 2 years, but you're just now seeming to understand. Which really makes you dense, by the way.
No. Joseph kind of understood that, but he didn't realize that there was a way to become immortal through that, and he's just kind of like, oh no, there's There's more layers to this insanity.
Well, I mean, when we last played, I literally told Arceus, here is something you don't need to know. He's like, yeah, I want to know it. And it almost broke his sanity. So players tend to be a little dense anyway. But I was like, yeah, you're ruling a cursed land that's been trying to drive the king insane for 2 years. New king comes up. Oh, I'm sure it'll all be fine.
That's why, you know, Vivi wants to be king. He is seeing how it works on different people before he tries himself.
Yes, but that falls under you already being a native to the Shadowfell.
Yeah. Vivi is a technically a cursed existence himself.
So let me get this straight. In order for me to become the true lord of this land, I would have to subvert my nature, which would then incorporate me into the curse of the land and therefore make me immortal.
You don't have to subvert yourself. You just have to willingly accept the power. Which does sort of, you typically do have to go into the well to accept that power. But we can find quicker ways. If you wish to do so right now, we can arrange for it.
Withers. No, I'm not going to ask this because this is going to create an entire paradoxical loop, which might end up destroying you. And as much as you and I can be antagonistic towards each other, I feel that the continued ability for you to embarrass me does create some amount of enjoyment in your life. Therefore,
I have
don't.
No desire to cause you harm, my lord.
Embarrassment is not harm. Embarrassment.
I
is
have
just,
no desire to cause you discomfort, my lord.
It's not discomfort. If it makes you happy, then that's fine.
I am, of course, happy as ordered, sir.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Continue with the status quo with Withers because I want him to derive massive amounts of enjoyment out of his life.
That is completely impossible, but go okay. I mean, I created backstories for Withers also. I mean, I have his personality down. If anything, you probably want to talk to Gallows about the actual nature of this place. He seems to be the one who is slightly freer of it.
Yes, I'm going to go see if Gallows is still around or if he's run for the hills from the.
No, he's always at the tavern.
I will go to the tavern and I will wave to Gallows.
He's in his customary seat in the corner. Although this place has been built so there's a maximum number of shady corners for people to hide in. It's like if there could, it's almost like an octagon now. It's been designed for maximum shady corners.
With noir lighting.
Yes.
Oh.
The lighting literally fades away. So you're like in the opening scene of Desperado, where the mariachi is walking in and the light's always dim to keep them in the shadows. That works for everybody here. It's
yes. I will saunter up to Gallows's booth.
The new king.
I nod. Well, Gallows, it is always a pleasure to meet you.
You need to get a drink.
Mind if I share this booth with you?
Well, I have no right to deny the king anything, do I? It is your land now.
Do I sense bitterness in Gallows' voice?
This is always Gallows' personality.
Yeah.
This isn't changing. He's always like this.
Gallows is named very much like in his sense of humor. So
I thought he was named Gallows. He was hung.
He does have a noose around his neck, like he wears like a tie.
I will slide into the booth opposite of Gallows, and if he does have a pipe in front of him, I'll light it for him.
Oh, it's already lit.
All right.
He's like you. He always seems to be smoking, except the smoke comes out of his rib cage.
Vivi sits down, takes off his mask,
I will
And drinks his drink.
I will bow my head to Gallows and I will go, so I have wandered into a much deeper amount of potentiality than I could have ever imagined, haven't I?
You have taken so much more advantage of it than the former king. By the way, that was an excellent betrayal. I expected it out of this one, but not you.
Like VV's like black and red eyes just peering at Gallows. Even in the shadiness, you can see it almost the skin illuminating his eyes.
Gallows isn't bothered by that at all.
Not very acceptingly of the compliment in that regard. Well, it wasn't for lack of trying on his part, but yeah, sometimes certain things come out the way that they are out of random happenstance. But
Fortune favors the bold.
Or the
Well,
foolish.
preparation is always useful. It is those who act who will always obtain the glory. Sometimes posthumously, but
some people are foolish enough to stumble into the end result.
And Gallows will actually give you a grin and nod at that. I find that most rulers tend to be fools. But act before you think, and you will always have the greatest advantage over others.
Sometimes instinct allows you to have the greatest sort of insight, though, so it's half a dozen.
He
one
kind of
way.
looks around at the community and then back at you on the phrase insight. The former king was actually so dense and pure, he worked against this land by sheerly existing. You are the exact opposite. This land has not been so bountiful in quite some time.
Yeah. But I am worried that I might create too much order for it to be able to be this bountiful forever. So I wish to know a bit more insight about the well and its power generation, if you are so willing to give.
It is not that whether or not I wish to give, it's what I can and cannot. I can't give what I don't have. But I would say that if you desire to truly wield the power of this land, you would need to go to the heart of the well. It is considered a final test.
Given your insight on the situation, do you feel that I would be ready for that at my current state?
Oh, that's not for me to say.
Well, you have potentially seen others in my situation go for it. Do I remind you of any of those who would succeed?
Again, it's not so much an issue of personal power. It's drive often. The previous rulers had no interest in gaining any more than what they had, so they stuck to the superficial. And I can't actually give you any insight into the challenge because that would defeat the purpose of a challenge.
No, exactly. I mean, the only insight that one truly has is the insight of yourself in regards to a challenge such as that.
Well, I think you're
And-
talking gibberish, but okay, as long as it makes you happy.
For the sake of war, yes.
He raises his drink to that one.
I have created the perfect set of circumstances. I do like to be insulted in very witty ways. And you like to insult in very witty ways. But yes, it's not so much myself that I have the ambition for, but more the actual people of this nation.
then you are not paying attention very well.
No,
You
no,
do
I am
not exist to serve this land. This land exists to serve you, if you are willing to do that. That was the problem with Lord Gileth. He did not see the forest for the trees. He was merely content to exist in his weird way.
By extension, the full power of this is an extension of the ruler's own will. Very Nietzschean in concept. That is the case. Then taking on full power, I could then extend the reach of this not only beyond the boundaries that it currently has.
You
But
could
po-
rule all that you could see. Forever. He kind of leans in now conspiratorially. It's like, you could rule the perfect criminal empire for all eternity. Everyone would bow down to you.
Or I could create an empire that could span stars, because if it is truly all that I can see.
You see Vivi just looking at Gallows right now. like,
He's not paying attention to you. He's focused on,
it's like,
as he's just saying, your reach would only be limited by your vision.
and this is where he becomes blind.
Vivi,
Mm-hmm.
how would you like to be able to control an entire star cluster?
If he's just like looking at you, like not saying a word. It's just, but the fact is already like it almost seems that his almost unnaturally pale skin gone a little paler by the concept.
Like, not only did your heart quit beating, the blood literally fled to your feet.
And just his piercing red eyes just staring at you, just not saying a word, because he knows if he was to say anything, it would make you it could just make you unhappy.
I mean, what greater source of unknown knowledge and forbidden knowledge is there but the darkness between stars?
It's like a moment of a glint appears in Vivi's eyes. That concept. First, I must understand everything of this world before I venture forth to another.
Then it is settled.
Will you be preparing an expedition into the well, sire?
We'll first continue the expeditions on this surface in order to grow my own understanding of myself and my ambitions, and then I shall take forward that expedition into the well.
And what did I just say about procrastination? But as you wish.
This isn't procrastination. This is finding the full drive. Because what good is it if I take
Because
the
it was
easiest-
your impulsive action that first gave you this power, wasn't it?
True.
A swift punch to the king at just the right time to dethrone him.
True.
And how did the king first take his crown? Do you think that anyone rules by preparation and planning? It is seizing power.
Well, have windows.
But if you don't believe you have that in you, then perhaps it is best that you wait for someone truly worthy to take that final step. Not all burdens are meant for you to carry, after all.
My mind is made up. Vivi,
Yes.
find all the books in the library about the well.
Very well.
Just well, this will be for later on, but go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Sure.
Do you want me to do it or Vivi?
No, this would be for him.
Okay.
While he does have additional, because he's your minister of information, he has different power while inside your domain. Sort of like you have the perceived darkness skill, which is that you keep trying to take. It only works when you're within your domain, though.
18.
18. Okay. I will send you information about what you're able to find later,
Very well.
because this is a future role you did. Okay. So Gallows will just say, as you wish. And he sort of leans back and seems to dismiss you.
I pull away from the booth and I stand there just thinking, and I go, Vivi, Lord of the darkness between stars, knower of celestial shadows, Joseph, galactic imperial ruler, swallower of light. Gileth. Champion. Oh, fuck it. I'll just talk with Gileth about what he feels an appropriate title would be at that point.
You might as well just call him the Blood God.
Yeah. Your scribe, I imagine that Withers normally doesn't leave the castle, so but obviously he's here for this. So you wish to take on the title of Blood God.
That would be Gileth. Gileth can be a blood god. I would be the
Okay, war will be declared on the Blood God.
No.
Well, you can't have the title unless you take it from him. That is how things work, my lord. You can't just name yourself to be the Blood God. It would upset the Blood God.
We'll fine-tune this. It's an impulsive thing right now. We're still just drawing on the marble.
War has been declared against the Blood God. Kill all of his acolytes. Drain their blood. That will insult him more.
Don't forget to take his skulls for their throne. Vivi just a big grin on Vivi's face.
I'm seriously just writing down a list of people and things you have declared war on.
Vivi's just like, I give up trying to control this chaos.
Like I said, the well will be overflowing soon. Through Joseph imposing order, he is just declaring war on everybody.
I am creating vast amounts of chaos.
I mean, quick list: the necromancers, the mages, now the Blood God.
Also, if we're going this way, make sure to get our finest craft to make a skull for their a throne from their skulls.
Of course.
Oh no!
What else do you make thrones out of?
No, you make goblets. You make goblets out of skulls.
Yeah, it makes a lousy goblet. It's got holes all in it. Everything just drains out.
What you do is you just turn it upside down, and then you use the biggest hole at the bottom in order to fill up.
Well, you just make a regular cup.
Well, that's kind of what you do. You fill the eye sockets in with resin.
No, what you do is you basically you join various legs and bones, hollow them, and then make a yard goblet.
No, what you do is you use the bones of their elders and their societal leaders, hollow them out and turn them into flutes and give them to very bad bards.
So do you want to use the bones of your enemies to fuel your army or do your choir?
Oh,
Well, that's going to weaken one or the other.
We'll go
Like
for
either
planet.
your army will have no arms and legs, or your entire musical section will be deprived of flutes or percussion instruments.
well,
How about-
fuck it. Then we'll use their bones to create the army, and we'll use their descendants' screams to create the chorus of which our
Okay,
musicians will play.
the choir will be worked on.
Yes.
Or we could just, since we're basically declaring war and kidnapping so many, how about we start on the artificers so we can give them the dead arms, mechanical arms.
Well, this is the thing. We also should give the people the right to bear arms.
Right.
War on the
Like-
druids.
It's like I knew exactly. No, I was expecting War of the Bugbears.
No. Not war on the druids. No war on the druids.
No
the
war on-
druids. The druids
are
shall be.
safe.
Yeah, the druids shall be subverted. Their nature shall change to the worshipping of the nature of our chaos.
Right.
The druids shall be corrupted.
Yes.
I am like BB finishes his drink, puts his mask back on. Until next time, Scarrows. And stands up.
Think of it. The untold reaches of the infinite space between stars shall all be known to you.
BB just goes, let's take one step at a time, King. First, we have to win the wars you've declared. Then we can on this planet. Then we can go deal with the stars.
Yes.
Destroy the
That is-
stars.
No,
This is your concentration staff yelling these things out.
like no staff. We do not destroy stars.
It has been declared by the king.
No, it hasn't.
We will wage war on the stars. Darkness
No.
shall fall across all.
No.
Oh yeah, and you need a kobold. You need several. You need a clan of kobolds.
We need several clans of kobolds.
Maybe we should speak to the Thieves Guild to steal the kobolds.
That's the human trafficking. That's the human trafficking division. Technically, we call them the human trafficking division, but they're more the interspecies relations and kidnapping
No,
brigade.
it's a worker relations,
No,
forced worker relations.
It's population reallocation division.
Oh, they're not considered part of the population.
Well, if they're born into the if they're born into the area afterwards, they can be considered part of the population. But right now, no, because they're not citizens. They're not part of the population.
Well,
They are a resource.
Very well.
Joseph, I actually do need that wisdom save.
Okay.
You've enforced a lot of rules all of a sudden.
15.
15. Okay. I'm not going to mess with the 15. Your rules are just put into law.
Oh my. In one day, I have made us into a dark,
Yeah, you're at war
fomenting
with
dark-
everybody now.
Yeah.
Because the people you haven't declared war on are basically going to declare war on you because you're stealing their land and people. And in some cases, they're bones.
And the voices of their descendants.
I
You
want
gotta
you to
remember, I
figure out
did
what
say-
you just said. You are going to be making a child choir, but the children are not the performers, they are the instruments.
No, I said we shall use the voices of their descendants.
And where do you think the voice comes from?
You can steal the voice without having to steal the child.
Okay, Ursula.
I was thinking more FIFA voices from the Theology.
I'm just saying that this is getting darker than my grim dark world ideas, where the hags only ate the children. And yes, I know how bad that is, but I really like Secondhand Curses, and it was a good book, and I was drawing inspiration from that. And then here comes Joseph with his good ideas. Remember, everyone watching us right now, these are the ideas he's voicing. Imagine what's going on inside that head that he thought, no, I'm not going to bring that up on stream.
Phoebe's just done with this.
You put the guy. You allowed the guy whose entire literature library is horror and eldritch darkness.
I didn't give you this position. You literally took it from your friend.
Yes, this is true.
I never even gave him the crown. You all collectively gave him the crown when you threw the original ruler out a window. And good God, I think I'm gonna have to give her real power so she can take it back just to get out of this cycle.
I think this is a good point to end on.
It is
Actually,
about the right time.
Phoebe's done. Done with this. Joseph,
Mhm.
make a wisdom saving throw.
Seven.
Phoebe casts command on you and says abjugate.
That would make me very unhappy.
He's done. Phoebe is done. Well, you. Phoebe doesn't care anymore.
Does this work?
I'm not going to say how you interpret the ruling, but we did kind of collectively agree that PvP. Okay, let's put it this way. I will let you decide how that works. You are the ruler after all.
We were not. There's been no actual challenge. He's just kind of done it. I mean, does it follow along with the rules of the actual kingdom in and of itself? Because we're still kind of.
Let's put it this way. If it hadn't been for, I would never have allowed you to steal the crown from Jesse if he wasn't willing to let it happen. So I'm not going to sit here as the DM and say you have to give up your prize. I will let you interpret whether or not your underlings are capable of commanding you, I guess. Because I know how I would handle this story-wise, but I am never going to be the DM who lets one player steal from another. And I get where Architz is going with this, and I support the story side of it. But at the same time, I'm not going to run a game where you guys can take from another player. So therefore, this is like someone issuing a duel to you. You decide if you want to. If you tell me, no, I don't want to give up the power, okay, then his spell doesn't work on you. If you want to see where this goes story-wise, you can do so.
Let's see where this goes story-wise, because because my questioning to you is more, does the actual town, does the rules of the land, the mystical curse of the land allow for the ruler to abdicate? Because if not, it's kind of like I'm bound in now. Like, oh dear
I
God.
do have ideas for this. So let me ask you before we wrap up. And wow, Arshis, thank you for bringing the drama right at the end. Joseph, how do you interpret the word abdicate? I mean, I know it's kind of straightforward, but command has always got wiggle room if you're creative. You've just been told to abdicate. You know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say.
Well,
My tongue doesn't work. How do you interpret that command? What do you do with it? You're
abdicate.
inside the tavern. There are people walking around.
Well, it would. I haven't been told specifically what to abdicate the responsibility of.
Exactly. You were given one word. How does that word resonate in you? You tell me, then I will tell you what happens.
Well, I'm going to abdicate morality then, because it's just pretty much like, well, that was the one thing that I was holding myself responsible for, was at least some semblance of a moral code. It's like, yeah, I am the ruler, but I am taking on the responsibility of morality here. So it's just like, no, I don't have to be the moral person anymore. I can abdicate that aspect of my humanity.
And with that, we will finally wrap up. Again, thank you, everyone. I know this was a weird episode, but at the same time, man, have we moved the story forward in some weird ways. Hopefully we'll have a full group. And I meant what I said. If you want to be a guest player who tries to take out the evil king, I think that's going to be our next story arc. But we will be having some more adventurous adventures, and we always need, we always welcome guest players, because in this weird magic world, we can bring you in from any other world. I have plans for that as well. I have been the spectator of all this. I can't say I'm the DM anymore. I'm just a spectator I'm the announcer. I'm the narrator who's reading the story as it goes. My name's Andy. I host this. I don't run this. I host this every other week. Who are you two? Where can people find you on the internet?
I'm Kyle. I go by Flint Ewood 756. You can see me returning to streaming. Actually, actually within about let's see, 1, 2, 3 weeks, I will be able to medically return to streaming once again on Sundays. So I will be returning to running Vampire the Requiem for Arshis and Andy, where you will see another different, darker side of me here on Twitch.
And Arshis, I realized that your attempt to remove the evil king backfired, and you only made him more evil. But still, thank you for bringing something even worse to our game somehow. Tell the fine folks where they can see you when you aren't destroying fictional worlds.
Hi, I'm Arshis. You can find me on here every Sunday, and with these two in 3 weeks' time playing Vampire the Requiem. You can also find me on Discord and on Twitter on the same name, Arshis Sotreth. And you can find me creating worlds at some point once as I'm nearing the critical point in the novel I'm writing.
Yay!
Ooh. I do look forward to that. Again, everyone, thank you for joining us. we'll be back hopefully in 2 weeks. Obviously, things happen, so it's getting harder and harder to say when we'll be back. But you can keep up with us on Twitter. I am trying to be more active on Twitter. We trick_roll. I'm also posting clips of us and our other D&D games over on TikTok. You can find us there. We're going to be doing announcements about new things we're doing, offering more opportunities to join us. However you can contact me if you want to join in on this, because I mean, this is what we do on the casual day. Imagine when there's monsters to fight. Farewell, everyone. Thank you so much.
You managed to make my character